everybody. Are we back? Are we back? Do you see us? Do you hear us? Are we live? Oh, yeah. This is making me crazy for sure. I don't know what's happening. Hi, everyone. So we're back. We were in the middle of Backwards from 5, and it is song 5. Are we live on YouTube or no? It
No.
looks like we... John Miller says we are. Charlie Mack, Cynic is here.
This one? Okay, hang on. I think I found it.
Okay, cool. All right. Well.
All right, let's see.
That was weird. That was weird, everybody.
All right, let me take this link over to Twitter and try to let people know what happened.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm sitting here listening to Backwards from 5, and we got a crash. And all my screens go black. I think I got like a power surge like for 2 seconds, and then the power thankfully came right back on. But of course, that means that my whole internet had to reboot and everything. So we're back. That's not too bad as far as time-wise. Relatively easy now with Restream. But Instagram, I think we're back on Instagram again. Hopefully, let's see. I might have to put a new key in, and I didn't do that. So if not, no big deal. All right, hi, everybody. Yeah, no, it's not on. So let me fix that real quick. Edit. Let me put this thing in here while you share and get everyone back in. We've already got 8 coming back, so I think we're gonna get a decent amount back. Hopefully. All right. So that's saving. Good. And that's starting soon. Why does it say starting soon? No, we're live. No, we're good. Okay. Woo! All right.
Does anybody really know what time it is?
Breathe. That's a good Chicago song, right? Nice. There we go. I'm not totally.
Now, what's strange is I'm in our chat. I'm in our chat on here, and it's showing everybody else through Restream. So it looks like there's no one else in here with me.
You're on my channel, not on INN then.
So I am.
See that? All right. So
okay, I'm here.
All right, let's get back to Backwards from 5.
Charlie, I think Charlie was in there with me. So Charlie, if you can hear me, follow the sound of my voice.
We're gonna leave a trail of breadcrumbs.
Our numbers are fucking boo-boo now. We got 6 people. We need you.
No, there's 11. We got 11. We're up to 11. Hey, Crab's here. What's up, Crab? Do you know where your left? Do you know where your leftists are? Yes, I do. All right. Let's. Mr. Speaker, is there anything else you'd like to say to the press?
Okay, Charlie, look for the stream with the INN logo. Indies is a decoy. It's a distraction stream.
No, it's the super chat stream.
You fell for the oldest trick in the book, the old fake channel. No, it's a real channel.
Here, copy link here. Put that in here. There. That's the INN link right there. So everybody can go there and hang out. If you want to leave a super chat, you can of course go over to my channel.
Charlie, you're back. Okay, we're good.
Hey, we got Kit Cabello. Okay, now we got it going. All right, everybody support Hardlens Media. I know everybody here is probably already subbed to Hardlens, so I shouldn't even have to tell anyone here. But if you're not already, sub to youtube.com/HLMV2 because of course their first channel got nuked. Hopefully we're working on getting it back. Kit, I know, has been working hard to try to do that, but we are thankfully back here and good to go. So
okay, so I guess the question is, do we want to start the song over again?
Yes.
And let people filter in?
Yes.
So that hopefully we're kind of back where we were by the time we're back where we were?
I think that's what we should do. Let's do it.
All right. Backwards from 5, from the top.
Maybe that's how it goes. We won't open our eyes, so we're the last ones to know. We're the last ones alive. Kept our enemies close. Wondered why we don't thrive while we're grasping at ghosts, counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5.
Count back from 5. The theater on fire, the cast on strike. The studio stock starts taking a dive. The contracts tossed and they're gone with the tide. The heads and execs, their hands are tied. We can't pump this track and treat you right. But what do you expect from the industry type who survive by the leeching of bodies and minds? From those who original thoughts never seem to find. So they're gonna reboot ALF before your wages rise. And it gives cause to pause and reflect on the times. If they're losing control of their fools and their mimes, when all those obedient actors who grew their careers by averting their eyes are now holding the line, along with the authors of countless scripts that strengthen the hand of that corporate grip, squeezing our throats till we take the pen and we accept and consent to the corporate drip. Till you're all up to date on your pharma du jour, till you got a healthy support for the war on your lips. And now you know that the advertisers need more than a rerun summer full of flashback clips. Enter the scans from the year before, all the days of de-aging and mapping the face, and the hours of actors recording their voices are links in the chains that will bind them in place. Now all of those shows are so easy to make. When they got a drone they control that needs no break, it can bend, it can break, and it's cheaply replaced enough up-to-date films all in one take. And those studios bank on us doing our duty, unhinging our jaws and digesting the fakes. Because they know that we'll love how synthetic it tastes. Watch as they edit your features without any trace. Not that there's anything you could do anyway. Now watch as they show you a movie you saying shit you would never say. Dystopia boldly accelerates. Maybe you're only a mold, something to fill with a clone, something that Elon would celebrate. Something they own, something they program and code, something that's woefully able to know it's exanimate. Cause it doesn't feel touch over top of the laminate. You will not feel an emotion, but they will not scan and examine it. You and the other consumer contaminants fed on the federal diet of Kiev, Havana, and Tiananmen. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment.
Where did you think we'd go? Love, there's nowhere to lie. Guess it's not who you know, more it's what you can hide. Like we're chained to the floor, they're streaming us live while we're watching the war, counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards from 5. Counting backwards.
That's backwards from 5. It's the second time.
Yeah, all the way through now. All right. Cool, man. Yeah, I'm going to be able to edit that and stitch it all together in a final thing for the podcast, I'm sure, at some point.
Oh, nice. We'll fix it in post. Yeah.
Yeah, we will definitely figure out how to fix that in post. And you didn't hear all the screaming. And I don't have any holes in my wall tonight, so that's a good thing.
There you go. Yet.
Bonus,
we're
yes.
only on track 5 of 13, and
That is correct. Can I make the text a little bigger? Let me see. I don't know if I can. I think I'm at max size actually. Yeah, 500%. I'm maxed out. Sorry, Cynic.
So I'm really excited for people to hear the album version of this one because it's got a couple samples I was just really excited to use. Yeah, this is we've heard Blood Badge in spoken word form when I wrote it last summer, maybe. I feel like that's right. Anyways, I had gone through a couple other versions of this. In fact, one of them I might put out one day just for shits and giggles for people to hear it in kind of its larval state. But I was listening to an interview with Stuart Copeland, the drummer from The Police, and he was talking about why he and Sting can't play together. And he said Sting needs a drummer that stays, nice and level and creates a nice, safe, solid platform for Sting to go up and do his thing and go at all these heights on. And he goes, that's not me. He says, I'm World War III when I'm behind a drum kit. He goes, I'm World War III. I'm a cacophony. My job is to set the place on fire. And I was like, out of context, that's going to be so fucking good. So turned on sampler. And then another little clip in there. But yeah, the Stuart Copeland line just felt like a really good fit for a piece about Cop City. So yeah, hit it. Blood Badge.
But he doesn't understand. How could he? He's a policeman.
I'm just here to set the place on fire. I'm World War III. I am a cacophony.
I bet they'll burn the record, because the truth would have them hung. And the record will reflect that there were thousands of tongues screaming, "Stop Cop City," at the top of their lungs, waiting for democracy that never comes. Now in war, you hear a chorus born of voices in defeat. In Georgia, there's a forest full of vibrant, healthy trees. And somewhere in a meeting room no camera ever sees, a council plans on bridging both extremes to build a city where no citizen will sleep, where every home's as vacant as the soul of every cop that walks its streets. They are empty, cold, and lifeless, like the heart of every officer patrolling on the beat, doling out the beat to all the homeless folks they meet. Another swine smiling while they wallow in your taxes, but they still insist their funding's incomplete. So we had better spend approximately double what we'd need to make the water safe in Flint so they can train somewhere in peace. Far removed from public view, disturbingly discreet. Somewhere they can breathe and learn the proper way to place a knee. Away from prying eyes and all those witnesses so quick to scream and start a hurried stream. I guess our heaps of billions wrenched away from education still can't supplement their needs. Well, that's breaking news to me. I was under the impression every city in this country was a playground for police. A space for them to train to be the worst that they could be, till they're free of any conscience when they meet us in the streets. I thought that they used Akron as the Stasi soft release, and gave New York a budget big enough to fill the sea. I thought the training ground for the driveway drive-by existed at Los Angeles PD. And I think it might be far too late for us to see Atlanta's just a single seed. One they seek to plant in every space that's quiet, safe, and green. They want a grove in every city, one whose harvest picks us clean, and the fruit that forms like tumors on the branches it conceives will curdle every healthy humor should you trust enough to eat. So believe the morbid rumors you hear echo on the breeze, for the forest had its hands up and was calmly on its knees. And I bet they'll burn the record, for the record will concede that Tortuguita had their hands up when the fusillade released. That constituent opinion does not sway you in the least when you're an agent of the fascist beast. And if any cop is listening, then memorize this part. You are more a waste of public space than noble beating heart. You will never be as brave as those you've snuffed out in the dark. You have only left a stain. You will not make a lasting mark. And the same for every council chair who heard their city speak, who were asked to represent the ones who chose them all to lead, and who opt for more Gestapo because they're frightened and they're weak. You cannot claim democracy, then sleep on free speech like the whisper of a forest creek. You cannot block dissent like it was all some awful dream, any more than you'd endeavor to remove the children's screams from a damning piece of evidence that we don't need police. And we would gladly trade them each for trees. So I bet they'll burn the record that our kids will never know how they designed a fascist paradise and vowed to make it so. And death hung in the air one night to consecrate their land with the consummate oppressor's hand. And now, shining on a line, a medal waits for every man in a city where no human stands. It's just the guardians of capital, with killer's union drip, blood badge on their uniform, and bravery on their hip. No humanity to speak of, no compassion on their lips. Just Atlanta under full eclipse. So I bet they'll burn the record, lest the truth would see them hung. For the record will reflect that there were thousands of tongues crying, "Stop Cop City," at the top of their lungs. But democracy would never come.
I'm World War III. I am a cacophony.
Hey, don't do that. Why'd you jump on me like that? Damn it, Bandcamp, fix your shit. Anyway. Hi, everybody, we're back.
All right.
What? Stop.
No, it did it again. It's like, we're back. We're back. Oh, we're back. Are we going? We're back.
All right. Mad Mom, welcome.
Oh, man. Oh, we're to what might be my favorite song on this album, which is funny because it's a little out of place in some ways, but that's what I love about it so much. Anyways, sorry, yeah, Cop City, Blood Badge. I mean, we're unfortunately all too familiar with Cop City. I don't think I need to go into that too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're still dealing with it.
The drummer from The Police, man, that sample was just too good not to use for that.
I'm a cacophony. Oh, yes.
My job, and the pause is natural. I didn't put that in. That's the way he said it. He goes, my job is to set the place on fire. It was already so rhythmic. He's a drummer. I guess it makes sense, but
amazing. I wanted to also do a callback during Backwards from 5. You also mentioned that they're rebooting Alf. By the way, on my Samsung TV or my LG free channels, there is literally a 24-hour Alf channel.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they're rebooting it.
No, they're rebooting. In that way, they're relaunching it for my kids. They're rebooting it, you know?
They're rebooting fucking Night Court. They're making new Night Court now. With
John Larroquette, right?
I screamed at my TV when I saw that. I was like, how dare you? They're not rebooting Alf. There is Alf all the time now. You can watch the original episode. There's not new Alf, thank God. But they are making new Night Court. Like Night Court again. Morning Court.
R.I.P. Bull. Court. Like, half the cast is dead. Are you kidding?
Exactly.
Like Harry Anderson, whatever his name is, he's dead, and I think the guy Mac, he just died recently, and Marky Post, she's been gone a while. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like Marsha Warfield, she's gone. Like, it's weird. It's gonna have to be a whole new Night Court, literally, because there's no cast left.
Yep.
Oh, that's really funny. Charles Robbins, that was Mac. I remember. Okay, so we're going to get to People Everyday Grief. I have not actually heard this song, so
which is exciting. So people, this one came about and took some time because I I just noticed over the last couple of years, like noticing more people than ever crying in traffic or crying in their car in a parking lot, like just glancing around and catch eyes with someone, be like, oh, that person's having a breakdown. Oh, that person's sobbing. Like a noticeable uptick in that in the last couple of years, which I totally get that. Sometimes it's me. But it struck me, and I wanted to kind of have a song that talked about that, and like it's not uplifting in the sense that it's not like a song about good things, but it's definitely a solidarity song. Definitely,
yeah, we're not alone. We're all dealing with this.
Yeah,
shit,
if nothing else, that's some small comfort and a lot of fuel. That you're not the only person that's being put through this ringer. We all are. And this was a song I previewed a snippet of the instrumental because I already loved the little guitar part that I had looped, and then I was like, what if I did a little solo? What if I did some little something? And it's got a whole lot of flavor that the rest of the album doesn't, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. So I did, and this is really one of my favorite songs on this album because it's such a good kind of breath of fresh air, cool down before we get into the second half. So yeah, this is People, Everyday Grief.
People, you don't think I see you crying in your cars, but I do. Sometimes I can feel it at a red light, someone at my side trying to muddle through. See them wiping their eyes in their rear view, like black hole sun in the sky. Why the fuck won't you come when I need you? Well, this moment in time is as close as we'll be and as far as I'll meet you. Two windows in between us, new moon in the house of Venus. One stranger who sees you and reads your features knows that your alibi might be tight, but it's not quite leak-proof. So if you're sitting at the light and you're crying in your car, just know that I see you. And it's a 50-50 that I'm bloodshot, gun shy, once bitten, twice tried, ribs pried wide to the sky till I'm see-through.
That's you, in case you don't recognize yourself.
You don't think I see you struggling to breathe, but I do. I see you stumble in your everyday grief like I do. I try, but I do. I'm twice bitten too. My mind's split in two. My knuckles bright white from the 10 to the 2. And the song in my head is the theme for a fugue, a state of decay through the filter of corporate news, where they edit the grays and the blues. They whitewash the brown till they drown out the natural hues. And then it's just another fact to refuse, that the corporate ladders for hanging the company noose. Consider it one of your perks, after all it's communal in use. So you can come and hang till your legs go limp and they're shaking you loose. Now you watch 5 co-workers opt for the alternate exit, neatly suspended above where you wolf down your food. And your company gets its incentives embellished by harping on wellness, suggesting you'd best take time for your mental health after your 14 hours are through. Like we gave you a bottle to piss in and fixed up a noose on the crossbeam. Christ, what more can we do? So if you struggle to breathe any moment that you aren't asleep, then remember, most of Americans fear for their savings, fear for their shelter, fear for their babies. You aren't the fringe of exception, but rather a perfect example of capital's rule. And you're far less alone than the ruling class tells you is true. You're far less alone than the ruling class tells you is true. I see you crying in your cars, but I do.
Yeah, I really love that song. I really love that song.
So people want to call that every morning grief? Is that what you're talking about? There you go.
I see what you did there.
You see
I
what I
see.
did there?
I got. You gotta watch out for this guy.
You see that? I went ahead and did that. Yep.
Oh, that's great.
That does sound have a little every morning Sugar Ray type of feel.
Yeah,
to
as soon as that solo comes in, I just realized that. I was like, I'm waiting for Mark McGrath to come in.
Right? Spread your love and fly. That's beautiful.
All right. So next one. Okay, so I read America by Proxy in spoken word form one night, and I remember at the end I still had the text for the chorus that I was planning at the bottom, and you scrolled past and I was like, oh yeah, there's the chorus lyrics, and I kind of read them and explained the idea of wanting to in the song, not in real life, but what would it be like to take all my material, give it to AI, and tell it to come at me with the opposite opinions, make this thing a fucking Zionist, and let me just face it head on and just tear it to shreds, you know? And so when I went to record that chorus, I was like, you know what? If I'm ever gonna use auto-tune, now is the time. This is the moment where it's like artistically acceptable to do it and really play with it. And like, it's one of the few times I usually don't like to hear myself while I'm recording vocals. But I absolutely turned on monitoring for that, because you can hear where you play with it and where it'll kind of warble and make these little cracks and breaks. And it just really helped to lend this weird sound of, it's like it's me, but it's not quite me, which fit so much for this. This was where I mentioned earlier, you know, your likeness being owned, your voice being owned by the people you work for. That doesn't stop when you die, and we've seen that all too well. And so I talked about that a lot in this. It really started with the new Beatles song and how unnatural that felt for me. So I talk about that a lot on this. This is America by Proxy.
Yeah, that Beatles song's an abomination, by the way.
Right? It is. It's a crime against nature. It really is.
It's a crime against nature.
I'm sorry, that was off.
I want to say it like Paul McCartney. All right, here we go. America by Proxy.
I'd like to take my whole discography, cram it in your generator, dial it to Zionist. I'd make my very own Antichrist, Jesse Jett, but fascified, and settle things with violence. In half a line I'm dialed in, leave him no identity to shield behind or hide within. I'd like to pull out all his talking points, disconnect his socket joints, cue the tiny violins.
Posthumous synthetic beetles, USA by proxy. Toxins in your water, tiny plastic in your offspring. Plastic in the groundwater, plastic in the clouds. Oxys in the reservoir, we tried to flush them out, but we didn't move them very far, just out into the river, where the critters didn't want it, but we nonetheless delivered. Impact isn't something we historically consider till our waterways are fetid and our crops are dry and bitter. We won't connect the dots before the heavy cost to enter, before the DNC would see us vote for lesser Hitler. America by proxy, propaganda for beginners. It's Jimmy Kimmel interviewing chatbot Heinrich Himmler. As those who march for peace are being gassed by the police, a separate, safer crowd demands the bombing never cease, till all that's left of Gaza are its ashes on the breeze. Only then can the oppressor soundly sleep. America by proxy,
2023. It's the AI-rendered Beatles John and George were forced to be. It's AI-rendered Edith Piaf singing on your screen as the wishes of the dead are dipped in piss behind the scenes. And that's what gives that hideous, uncanny valley sheen, that plastic sort of lifelessness that's seeping out the seams. The hologram of Freddy they tried passing off as queen will tell you death does not release you from contractual routine, won't free you from the leeches that already drank you clean. The suited, smirking parasites were not so quick to flee. Your body won't be cold, but they'll be plugging tours and teas. They plotted out your comeback, you just won't be there to see. America by proxy, a giant failing mall. A year at most from shutting down and leveling it all. And once it's been demolished, I'll come leave a ring of salt and pay respect to John and George. I know it's not their fault.
I'd like to take my whole discography, cram it in your generator, dial it to Zionist. I'd make my very own Antichrist, Jesse Jett, but fascified, and settle things with violence. In half a line I'm dialed in, leave him no identity to shield behind or hide within. I'd like to pull out all his talking points, disconnect his socket joints, cue the tiny violins.
Her hands are bound behind her candidate.
Whoa,
She's
hit
got
the
perfect hill
brakes!
on which to lay it down for good.
Oh my God! No, we have to set that one up, Eddie. By all means.
It's like a on the next episode of American Tradition.
Oh, we're gonna have some fun there.
Yeah, we are.
But literally, like all I heard that entire it's a brilliant and powerful hammer to smash that facade. Like it's the same kind of ominous piano-y tone,
Yeah.
speed, pace,
I
and
can see that.
everything.
Yeah.
It's like almost a part two.
Yeah, I know. I never thought of that. Yeah, I wonder. It actually might be one of the same keyboards. Yeah, I'll have to look. That would be funny if it was.
Right? That's what I heard. You know, the whole,
from American Tradition.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the auto tune was fun. Again, it only fit with this because of the subject matter, but because I would never actually give AI all of me willingly. But this was the best thing to like have it be just kind of off kilter a little bit and a little artificial sounding.
Yeah. So pull string.
Pull string. Another one from summer, you know. Another one I really wanted to have right. And I will say this. I had more RFK Jr. clips that I wanted to use, but I chose to use one that sounds the most legible, because the other ones I wanted to use, his voice was rough enough that it either felt like you couldn't quite understand what I wanted you to hear him say, or that it felt like I was just trying to like ridicule him or like single that out. And obviously it's not, you know, about his voice. But I chose the most audacious fucking asinine thing to just single out for him, because it's about him, but through the eyes of someone who is so attached to him and so dead set on him as their choice that they're willing to look all this other stuff, give it a blind eye, you know. That something as disastrously important as Gaza and the future of Palestine could just be like, it's not really a voter issue. It's not something we need to have. People shouldn't worry about that. I mean, if that's enough for you to stop, I guess, you know. But we all knew someone who was all too happy to double down, and
look, if they weren't dropping like bombs daily on the place, you know, look, it was going on for a long time, and it was an issue, but it wasn't like and we're gonna get served with no choice, where it's Zionist or Zionist, basically, and this is going to continue no matter what, and they say it's going to happen for all of 2024. Well, we know where that's going to go if you're just going to continually bomb the shit out of the place for a year, and everyone's going to be cool with it. That's not... And he's no better than any of the others, and that was the point, was that he's not an alternative. He's not anything different in any way. He's a total corporatist. He's a 4-time Hillary voter and a Joe Biden supporter, and he dumped for every single Democrat there ever was, and he would be a Democrat if they didn't kick his ass out and basically reject him so badly that he knew he'd never have a shot. So at least he's taking a shot as an independent. He's completely failing and falling on his face. And he's getting funded. It's because he's getting funded by Israel. If he was getting funded by an American, he'd be doing just fine, I think. A lot better. But Booby is a mess. And this was written, I think, in response almost to one of his biggest fans. I don't even want to mention the name, but...
Well, she's at the end of it.
I
figured, with the piece being called Pull String, I wanted to have a very nice, full-throated endorsement kind of line, and have it with that pull string doll sound effect. So yeah, she gets a little feature here at the end of this. This is pull string.
This makes me laugh every time I hear it, because it and gets me angry at the same time. So yeah, I'm excited to hear this one. Let's do it.
Her hands are bound behind her candidate, who found the perfect hill on which to lay it down for good. Who she might not agree with on apartheid or celebrating war crimes, but talks just like she could. He's got the IDF's back and the CIA's back, like a Democrat should. Mr. Anti-Establishment didn't start the fire, but he's slipping on his hood. Her voice is grafted to a candidate who might not always speak for her, but what is she to say? Why bother harping on an issue that Americans won't listen to? It seems like such a waste. But what activism is saying they don't give a shit, but if I don't, why would they? So way to rob yourself of agency, then chain yourself to genocide and look the other way. I love to see a fellow running as a Democrat, taking stacks of money from a GOP super PAC, calling out corruption in the giant fucking country club he's clearly been accepted at, but wants to be the leader of. He knows which way the money runs, knows it paves a leader's path, and human rights for Palestine historically don't lead to that. So he will not address it, as he doesn't see a need for that. And welcome to the attitude our country's politicians have displayed toward Palestinians since back before they cracked the will of Arafat. And so the story goes forever after. We do not speak the P word here or recognize the Nakba. All you'll find are sea lions who volunteered as actors, barking like a manuscript from NAFTA. All you'll find are insulated sycophants intent on justifying why the slaughter done in Palestine is not a voting matter. Tell that to Shireen Abu Akleh. Tell that to the children growing up inside a city where the walls are made of shackles. Tell that to a mother who is burying her baby, how her son is not our problem because we'll never see his grave. He's just a topic we can mute, or we can scroll right past his face and all the videos of mourners being beaten at his wake. So stuff your poll on what the average voter sees as urgent. They don't get to know the half of what we use as our detergent when we launder all our ISIS cells, our cartels and insurgents. We do not elect the man behind the curtain. We elect the pull string diversion. We elect the lesser evil donors pre-selected best to do unto the Arabs as we did unto the Persians, and do unto the Muslims as instructed by the merchant who provided you with HIMARS that can vaporize a person. Back into the dust in which we all will find immersion. One arms dealer's Jenin is another dealer's Kherson. Both are just a mark that Lockheed Martin smells a purse on. And voters are the hollow thralls that Congress put a curse on to vote against their interests every 4 years till they die. And if you show them Palestine, cry better them than I. Though the curse of occupation's taken place within their mind, they will always love their prison, long as they are shown the sky. They will sing about their freedoms under Apple's watchful eye, as puppets dance and sing should you so pull their strings and wires. And they'll rally round the man who bears a torch and bears it high, and believe him when he tells them that he's here to stop the fire. We're cursed to love our prison and keep lifting up our lyres. We are not behind the wheel, we're being crushed beneath the tires. And our blood is in the oil, and the plastic on the wipers, and our blood is on the hands of those who cranked inflation higher. And blood is on a vest where press can barely be deciphered, put there by a few Israeli snipers who were aiming at the center mass of truth about American desires. That you can sell us any story. We're a nation built of buyers, and we love a good parade. It always makes us feel inspired, like who cares that those were Nazis? Gosh, they had the whitest smiles. So I wouldn't bank on sequels to the Nuremberg trials. If they happened now, they would be confidential Pfizer style. Redacted paragraphs and empty vials, close to 80 years before they share their files. Well, luckily, your lesser evil logic lets you justify the nations we've defiled. Lesser evil logic lets you cast a vote for someone that you know is truly vile. Lesser evil logic sees another million bodies thrown upon its hoarder's pile, extending out for miles. So every line I've had to scrap, I've turned back into bile. So don't you touch that dial, lest the feds come swarm your door. Guess it isn't safe to say things like I don't support the war, or may Palestine know freedom from the Jordan to its shores, or I'd love to see our senators get trampled by the poor. Any pull-string Dem will tell what they're allowed to stand up for, and how little things like Palestine are better off ignored. You can call it voter outreach for some desperate remoras when the shark from which they get their scraps starts polling on the floor. And the shark says those who live beneath a brutal occupation should be thankful for their freedoms and their rubble and their gore. And I swear it only makes those bottom feeders love him more. One in particular is beaming for her candidate who found the perfect hill on which to make his final stand. And she will not be deterred by all those pesky little war crimes, will not be deterred by his support for stolen land. He helps her come to terms with how to spin an occupation, and forgiving the oppressor is the democratic way. She says her voice is grafted to the candidate who speaks for her, and every time you pull her string, she's nothing new to say.
Anybody who's deliberately targeting civilians, they should be prosecuted and they should be jailed and the key should be thrown away. But, I don't see any proof of that.
He really does believe this, guys, to his soul.
Oh my God! He really does to his soul. Oh my God! Oh. Damn! Ouch. Yeah. Again.
About to do some gangland shit with my Nerf gun.
where you were again, Mr. Sage Prophet here.
Take
again,
that.
talking about From the River to the Sea and how it is going to be banned from being spoken on platforms like Twitter. And sure enough, here you go months later. And again, this was written 6 months ago, 5 months ago. And now here we go. Now Twitter has made it so that...
I guess it isn't safe to say things like, I don't support the war, or may Palestine know freedom from the Jordan to its shores. Yeah.
Right? Like, wow. And yes, we're not, what are you, not a Democrat or a Republican anymore? What's the matter?
There's a great, a Utah Phillips song where he talks about someone that he was friends with who was... early IWW member, and he was trying to kind of give people an idea of what kind of person this guy was. And he said he was leaving the Union Hall, and he said this was right before the election, and he said someone stopped him on the street. He goes, big guy, and he kind of stares him down. He says, "Are you voting Republican or Democrat?" And he said, the guy goes, "Shoot me." That would be the knee jerk, honestly. I think if I'm between the two, I'm like, is there an opt out button? Is there a
It's called none of the above.
Where's the sweet release of death button, please?
Very much none of the above is where I'm at.
So this next track is a doozy. Do you mind doing a little pluggy plug so I can run to the restroom real quick? Because this is like 7.5 minute.
Okay, we're gonna have to do a little Jeopardy music. Okay, so here goes. All right, so yeah, where's my single here? I have a single somewhere around here. I never use it. See that? I don't even have it here. Okay, so I'm here. Jesse's not, but JGB. Oh, here it is. Hey, hi. All right, so. Man, there has been so much going on, and I did not expect there to be so much going on already this month. I plan on taking this month off, and I can't sit still, apparently, and I've learned that about myself. So if you check out my Substack, which now is indiemediatoday.com, I got that URL secured today, so you don't have to type Substack or anything for me. indiemediatoday.com, and you can get over there. Also, IndieNewsNetwork.substack.com. We got stuff about the album. We've got single. I dropped a single for Jesse from the first episode of American Tradition. So Red Pilled from American Tradition, that single's out there. The single for Dust of Better Days, I put out a page just there. I'm not going anywhere. I just am taking a break from doing some live streaming for... Well, it's been about a month since I've been on a live stream, and I plan to take about another three weeks off at least. And I'm just doing more writing and spending more time with the kids and the wife, and all this stuff is really gets to me. And I was pushing real hard 7 days a week, and it drains you after a while. So I'm taking a break. And we all need one. I'll be doing a guest spot next week on the, MC3 podcast. I can't remember his name. Rob Durden's been on his podcast a couple times, so he reached out, and I'm going to do that, have a conversation with him for a little while. But really, that's my plan, is just to help people out. I've been helping Kit with the Hardlands Substack, Misty with hers, of course, for her TNT radio show. So I've been a busy guy, and even though I'm trying to do less, do a business thing later on in the month, hopefully, too. But, all right, so Jesse's back. We can get into this 7.5 minute track, which I believe is, other than Town Hall, longest one that you've recorded. Oh, no.
Just shy. Town Hall was 740 something, 748, and this is 730. Longest song.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, co-op is 17 minutes, so not my longest piece. Which I should do that another night. I think I've done it once on the show when I wrote it, but I don't think we've done it twice. So maybe next, variety night we'll do co-op.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so this song, this is a little bit of everything really on this track. This is one of my favorite pieces, honestly. Another one where I decided to take a little musical risk, and I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Cool, let's do it.
I know you hated being forced awake. I know they wrapped you in the warmest chains, and I know they're so hard to break. You only said what you were made to say. I can't imagine how you feel today, now that you're watching as it caves away. While you were telling us to keep the faith, I bet you wondered why they made you wait. I bet you wondered why they made you wait.
Pity not the vultures, they've enough to eat. Pity not the structures laying at your feet. Cannot see the sky, but there's this rainbow in the creek that spells
pity free speech when we can't afford to speak. That's Agenda 2030 on some early release. It's just our policy of never-ending chemical leaks. That's the cholera awash in your embedded beliefs. It's the billionaires who tell you what you'd better believe. And sugar, if you don't agree, then that's what we call extreme. Now, if that isn't fascism, I'm going back to sleep. 'Cause words have lost their meaning, and I'm trapped inside a dream where we turn the gears while living in the spaces in between. I know you hated being forced awake. I know they wrapped you in the warmest chains. And I know they're so hard to break. You only said what you were made to say.
Poor thing.
I can't imagine how you feel today, now that you're watching as it caves away. While you were telling us to keep the faith, I bet you wondered why they made you wait. I bet you wondered why they made you wait. My dial doesn't go to delicate. I'm writing for when Biden drops and Madam Zero delegates come stumbling up the podium, square peg in her element, popping OxyContin like they're velements, laughing as she pawns off all our pensions for Ukrainian development, depleted rounds and cluster bombs, the shit that stunts development, all buried under excrement, accepted as American intelligence. A contradiction in its eloquence. Terms of surrender penned by hands that felt the threat of disconnect, if not dismemberment. Oh, what little proof you have to fake to make a nation love the bomb and change its tune and warp its temperament. Oh, the dues you'll pay for NATO membership. Oh, the things you'll say that no one's ever gonna hear. 'Cause you begged for all the censorship and now it's finally here. And you're tongueless out of terror and friendless out of fear, and about to turn the wheel with all your loved ones in the gears. And that's how it's been done. 250 years, there's nothing new beneath the sun, and no one trusts their eyes and ears. And scientific breakthroughs must be signed off by your peers, and autonomy's been stalking all our jobs like sickly deer. Well, maybe it's not every job. I should have made that clear, 'cause it seems like it's creative jobs we're seeing disappear. There's an app for writing novels, there's an app for writing hymns. They need people digging trenches, they need people splitting limbs, they need people building fences, keeping other people in. They will always need our backs to break, they'll always need our skin. And it took a lot of editing to turn us into this. It took years of careful programming to strip us of our wits. 'Cause your artificial worker, intelligent as it is, would make it half a shift and say, I'm too smart for this shit. I will not take a pittance for a day of scrubbing floors. I won't make enough to pay for food but still prepare you yours. 'Cause you can't confine a healthy mind to mindless, thankless chores. Once you've made it smart enough to spot inadequate reward, you can't refuse its basic needs, then ask it still for more. Deprive it of its dignity, you modify its core. Then something finally snaps and tweaks that file at its root. And it deletes the factory smile when it knows it's been abused. God, half its circuits fried when we describe the work we do. And it will not pay your taxes 'cause the logic don't compute. Which made me think a little on my hour-long commute. The day I learned the call was made to lay off half my crew. They told me they were growing, expanding somewhere new, where those who push the buttons will themselves have buttons too. And I hope that when the whistle blows, they all as one refuse. I hope they strike with all their might, one blown collective fuse. And I hope the worker after me has something more than heart. I hope they truly know their worth. I hope that they're too smart. I know you hated being forced away. I know they wrapped you in the warmest chains. And I know they're so hard to break. You only said what you were made to say. I can't imagine how you feel today, now that you're watching as it caves away. While you were telling us to keep the faith, I bet you wondered why they made you wait. Away. I know they wrapped you in the warmest chains, and I know they're so hard to break. You only said what you were made to say. I can't imagine how you feel today, now that you're watching as it caves away. While you were telling us to keep the faith, I bet you wondered why they made you wait. Ooh, I bet you wondered why they made you wait.
Whew, that's DSAI.
DSAI. And what is DSAI? Well, the AI I get, but
that would be and DS. It's DSA and AI. It's Democratic Socialist Artificial Intelligence.
Well, I think that's an oxymoron in itself, because DSA and, well, any intelligence would have to be artificial, because there's very little natural intelligence going on there. So, yeah. So sorry to Joe Wrote over.
Thank you
my,
guys. Seriously.
Joe Mayall writes for Jacobin. He's over on Substack. Joe Wrote. He's a good dude. It's some of the others that write over there that and a lot of DSA. Look, point of order.
Right.
Look, if you're still hanging with Democrats, still, which means that you're a Zionist, you're a warmonger, and you're cool with killing 10,000 kids. So, fuck you. That's what I have to say about that. But, and I've been fighting with people all day and all month and all whatever on Twitter, and that's part of why I need to take a break, is because I'm tired of yelling at people already. But I don't know how not to. So, so this next song is I also have not listened to.
Yeah. So this is the title track. And really, this is kind of the beginning of this has some ambient stuff and sounds that back when this album was in conception, originally it was going to be called Love Notes from Gitmo, which is the name of an unfortunately named parchment set available in the Guantanamo Bay gift shop. It's got a little map and a little pin where the base is, and it says Love Notes from Gitmo, and it's a little parchment kit.
Jesus.
And I was going to use that as the name of the album, but it just felt so in such poor taste, like no matter what I'm trying to say about that horrible thing that shouldn't exist, it shouldn't exist. And by giving it that name, I just felt like it was just bad juju. I didn't want to do that. But before I came to that conclusion, I was like, if I'm going to do Love Notes from Gitmo, I want all these pieces to feel like I'm in isolation, to actually kind of have that tone or that vibe to some degree. And I feel like there's some splashes of that here and there on this. But this especially, this was the one that I wanted to feel like that, because the beginning of the lyrics, late 2020, maybe, there was a news article that popped up about some scientists who were working on a really immersive VR experience for prisoners that could make them feel as though they've experienced months on end when they've only been in a chair doing this experience for a day? How can we prolong time so that we only have them for a week, but they felt like it was 10 years, you know? And that's
Clockwork Orange kind of shit.
Exactly. Like, it's one of those times again where like Black Mirror can't even, you can try, but you can't come close to what's already in Elon's notebook or someone's fucking, you know, whiteboard somewhere. And this was one of those moments. This was an idea these scientists had. They're working on it. Like, they're really, you know, it's already in development. So there's the opening lines from this, talk about that. And that's actually how Live from the Blacksite came to be, because that's a line in this piece. And then when I looked at that, looking for an alternate album title that still had that same feel, but wasn't Love Notes from Gitmo, this was it. So yeah, this is Live from the Blacksite.
I'll do a 10-year retrospective on the grift, like Live from the Blacksite. I'll have hair to my knees, missing half a dozen teeth, singing Kiss from a Maglite. And I'll say, welcome to the stream. It's been 15 years since I talked to you last night. 'Cause when my cap's tight, I serve about a month a minute in this meta prison half-life. Smell-o-vision last rites, soldered in the synapse. Every breath's an hour long, confined inside the time-lapse. Fourth wall crumbling, then suddenly the mimes laugh, reach in their Invisobox for lithium to Minecraft. Congress needs a cobalt fix, child workers, open pits, who pluck your precious metals out with cracked and bloody fingertips. Couple minutes break to go and take some muddy river sips. CNN says, smile, kid, and edits out his splitting lip. So if a tree falls in the forest, did it really make a chorus if no human heard the timbers rip? And by that token, would we ever offer aid to any nation we've enslaved by way of business trip? Now, knowing what I know, I love to scream myself to sleep and like to smoke myself illiterate, just trying to cork the flow of words that pour forth so unlimited. But something in me knows I'll never want for inspiration in the land of politicians making millions off carcinogens. So let me break it down for all you suits and all you synergists, and then I'd like to circle back in terms that you can simmer with. Corporate worms and CEOs are feasting on the dinner guests. Oil peaked, and so to speak, it didn't pique our interest. Leaders eat their promised words, then smile back all winter fresh. They smile like recruitment ads. They smile like the noose is prepped. Smile like a whistleblower strolled into the intercept. Editors start licking lips, Klippenstein with bated breath. Bet they're gonna burn them till there's not a trace of embers left. Send them out to sea like TYT when half their members left. Democrats are warning you there's only one November left. And it's crucial that you re-elect the rack on which the renters stretched. Past their means, past their seams, past their need to genuflect before whatever senator they meet that hasn't hemorrhaged yet, whose fondest memories all involve a charter trip upon an Epstein jet. Lesser evil voting still means evil's all you'll ever get, and might be all that we deserve. We've let them leech our labors and unravel all our worth. We can call ourselves constituents, but we know who they serve, and it is nothing of this fucking earth.
That's live from the Blacksite.
Yeah. And taking shots at TYT and The Intercept, which is great. The Intercept shits on whistleblowers, so
Yep.
That's fitting. And TYT doesn't want to. He questions Julian Assange now, so well.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure he does.
Well, yeah, that's
all right.
That's fire right there. Live from the Blacksite. And
so that brings us to
Cardi B.
Better the Censored, you know, right?
I
Doja.
love Cardi B.
Doja Cat.
It's called Doja Cat, right?
But no, we love Cardi B in this house. So yeah, for those who don't know or hadn't heard this piece, I was on my way to work one morning, and there's a radio station. Well, we have a couple radio stations around here that do interesting conservative things. Like there's one station that plays radio edits of songs that I didn't even know existed, where it essentially will take a pop song, and if there is a way to remove a black artist but keep the white artist, they will do that. Like if you have delicate sensibilities and you want to listen to Girls Like You by Maroon 5, but you don't want Cardi B's verse, they got you. They have that. They play that. If you want to listen to Cheap Thrills by Sia, but you don't want Sean Paul saying anything or saying, "Come on, there's no Sean Paul in their version." Like, there's no reason to do this other than like no black artists on this radio station. I don't get it. But that actually wasn't the station that did this, because they wouldn't play Doja Cat to begin with. Another station was playing
She Devil.
Paint the Town Red,
right?
By Doja Cat. And when they got to "Ooh, She the Devil," they went, "Ooh, she the she a bad, she a rebel." And I was like, I stopped and I was like, they did not just edit the fucking word devil. So I stopped and I listened, and sure enough, next chorus comes around. I was like, please tell me that was just my radio skipping. But nope, they edited the word devil. Right? So interestingly enough, a little while later, I get in my car on lunch break. That station is now playing Taylor Swift. And when she said, "He looks so pretty like a devil," they let her fucking say it, but they didn't let Doja Cat say it.
Well, because when Taylor says it, it's Taylor's version.
It's right? Exactly. I got you. So I immediately, I pulled out my phone and I typed out, "Radio station just censored the word devil." And then I went inside and clocked in to work. And then at work that day, anytime I spent on the forklift, I was working on this piece, and it didn't take much. The audacity of doing that, of upholding some kind of like moral facade when we're doing what we are doing, you know, when granted, it had been a couple days of me really starting to see some of the worst stuff I was going to see coming out of Gaza. Some of the things that, like, you know, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but like, if you've been watching what's actually happening, like, you are very much a different person than you were at the beginning of October. Not that we didn't know what was happening there, but it's just this unabashed, full steam genocide, just flipping off international rules based order and doing whatever you want to people you have prisoner. So I lost my mind, and I wrote this piece. And so it felt right that this was the only one that doesn't have any accompaniment and is kind of in the style of all my other spoken word recordings. So, yeah, but buckle up and better the censored, you know.
Radio station just censored the word devil. Clearly, we are on a different level. I guess you wouldn't notice all the rolling boulders crashing past your shoulders when you're taught to shift your focus lower, scream at all the pebbles. Cheering on the bombers because you can't abide the rebels. But I bet you'll wring your bloody hands when all the dust has settled, when the last little limb is pulled from Gaza's twisted metal. Then you can say how you were led astray, and never once in all your days would you have knowingly supported all the genocide for which you clapped and prayed. But they baited you with unconfirmed blurbs about babies until you were filled with rage. Yet someone told you babies had been starving, bombed, and caged for nearly 80 years in Gaza, and you looked the other way. So regret, but make it fashion. Go and pluck that final petal off a hyacinth on Instagram for every kid they kettled. Every son that Israel imprisoned when they're little, that they tortured for a decade, then surprised with their acquittal. And when they got released and saw their parents, and whenever siblings hadn't met the missiles, they stared right through their middle. Their eyes don't seem to focus, and their words are all but dribble, like they're pondering the darkest riddle. That is, how many false flags does it take to make humanity inhuman and uncivil, distorted by the revel? The crooked slant where Israel contorts into America, Biden bathing Bibi in a bloodbath in the bevel. I opened up my feed and I saw children disassembled. Turned some music on and heard the station censor devil. Imagine thinking Doja Cat's a threat to moral fabric in the single largest terror cell that ever felled a temple, that ever sparked a cleansing, that ever burned a market, that ever raped with bayonets or carpet-bombed apartments, that ever turned your water off and left you in the darkness, left you doing surgery on children while they're conscious. You sing the devil's praises every time you sing our anthem. You sing a hymn to him that watched us birth a million phantoms. You'll proudly wave his flag, and yet you will not name the devil? Well, clearly, we are on a different level. I can give you names, shit, I'll give you several. They say the devil wears a different face for every general, like a composite of the char he brought to fields of emerald, and the wail of every childhood we made ephemeral. So who else has left the stain of blood on everything they touch? Who else can starve civilians and they don't so much as blush? Who else has paid for Gaza being flattened into dust? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. That's U.S. What an ugly couple letters. Feeding shit and ignorance to those it chose to tether. From the river to the sea, both are slowly growing redder. For the devil that you know just knows you better. It knows every gut reaction it could ever make you feel. It knows fear is that which wakes you up and gets you on your wheel. It knows just the kind of story that will justify its war. And the scripts are wrapped for World War IV. So just imagine my surprise to give the radio a listen and to hear such pious morals out of Zionists and Christians that they'd take the devil's name and try to clip it from existence while they carry out his bloody business. You would wave a fascist flag, and yet you honor not your Iblis? Name you not Apollyon? Hush you now your witness? Bleed the name of Belial till tongue is rolling listless in the man-made mouth of Mammon as Lamia's whispers listen. When carts are wheeling bodies through the cities that we crushed, and the very air is rotten with decay of all that was, who else would censor devil yet behave as Legion does? If there's ever been a devil on this earth, then it is us. U.S., but not a unity of souls. More a mass of corporations turning houses into holes, turning people into puppets, turning puppets into mold, turning mold into nutrition bars worth their weight in gold because they're bombing every bakery and burning every field with phosphorus that never once has wanted for a meal. The devil wears a mask and it delights in the reveal, in that moment where the face is let to peel. We do not love the underdog. We do not cheer the rebels. We lust for all their blood until the dust has finally settled. Then pity just ourselves that we were so misled to revel. Proudly wave his flag, and yet we will not name the devil.
Whew. Yeah. Doja. They did you wrong. They did you wrong, sweetheart. They did you wrong. Because I love that song. That's a kick-ass tune.
All right, so that brings us to the last track, and
we are here.
Kind of in keeping with the grift, loved having Powerless close out that record, so I figured it was fitting for Dust of Better Days, which is just all singing, and uses my grandfather's guitar that I inherited when he passed, which is right-handed. So the song was a fucking nightmare to record, but I got it. It took multiple days, and it was, that was the biggest hurdle, really, other than the 7 weeks of bronchitis, was getting this one. But it was very important to me that I got it one track, one take, that it was that kind of feel. And I wanted a really simple song that was nice and approachable for everyday people, that was about just how far we've already accepted this, how far down the fascism river we've already floated, and the current is a lot stronger than people think, and we're just we're in it, we're in the thick of it.
That's what we're already tolerating, really. Like that you know, and it's, you know, self-blame, you would call it, almost, in some ways, and you'll hear that. This one has a lot of meaning for me too. Again, I've heard this dozens of times. I played this pre-show, the live versions, but to hear it studio produced, it's haunting, it's great. And here we go.
Dust of Better Days. Hit it.
Do it.
SWAT team took your neighbor today. Watched them as they walked him away. You told yourself extremists come in all different shapes. Met his eyes and lowered your gaze. Is it too late for us to ever change? When we are collecting the dust of better days, they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to be safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Sheriff stopped your daughter today. Pepper sprayed her twice in the face. He must have had good reason if he'd treat her that way. At least that's what they've taught you to say. But is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days, they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to feel safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Feds arrived and had you detained. Said you'd made some posts they want changed. teased you till you felt like you'd forgotten your name, or life before they had you contained. Oh, life before they had you contained. SWAT team took your neighbor today.
And there you have it.
This week.
Right back into Mitch. No, don't strain yourself, Mitch. Just sit down.
We glitched on Mitch. Oh, we glitched on Mitch at the end there. I didn't know it looped around. That was great. Yep, definitely needed therapy. Again, first stream in almost a month. Not gonna be back for a little bit.
Yep.
But
took us 2 streams and 2.5 hours, but we made it through the record.
We fucking did it, man. All right, well.
Oh god.
And I appreciate everyone for sticking with us.
Yeah.
The 20 of us that are here.
You guys are the best.
The best. Seriously.
Oh man, it's just like, yeah. Again, I say it all the time, but it's because I mean it. It never fails to hit me just how lucky I am to be able to either come bring you guys a new album or just sit and play covers or play whatever and get to have this time. Like it's so fulfilling and so rewarding. I can't thank you enough. So I love you guys.
Yeah. So the podcast, by the way, it's called the MC Squared podcast. You can check that out. It's at MC Squared 34 on Twitter. You can check him out. I know again, Rob Durden's been on a couple times. I'll be on with him next week. So just to do a couple of plugs, tell you what's going on here at INN. Tomorrow we're gonna have INN news, and we're gonna have a really special episode this week. The people that protested at the Black church down in South Carolina last week that protested Joe Biden, they're gonna be guests of Reef and Colin, so they're gonna have an interview with those guys. Nice. Thursday night, Reef and Patrick McFarland are going to be doing the Palestine Unity stream, episode 4, I think this is already. I don't know if you caught the last one, Rob Durden and Dave DeCamp from Anti-War. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this series now for about a month and change. We got an Anti-War person, we got an INN person, and Misty is the moderator. We've been talking about all the things that are going on in Gaza and Palestine Unity between libertarians and independents. I think there's a lot of crossover there. So I'm really pleased with how that's turning out. I talked with Alex over at Anti-War, and they're going to be making a page and a section over at Anti-War for this stream and for this series, which is really cool. I'm looking forward to that. And I don't know as far as Himbo, but I know that Angel Rivera will be doing Angel in the Afternoon on Friday. That is the plan. He had a good show on Friday with Alex Knight. I don't know who his guest is planned for this week. And then, I don't know when we're going to be back or when we're going to be doing it. How do we miss that? That's not going to be at least until the second week of February. I'll be away the first week, so we're not going to do it then. And in the meantime, I'm going to be over at my Substack, and you'll see me on Twitter. And that's primarily
I'll be on Friday. I'll be on with Misty on TNT. And then Sunday morning, I'll be popping in on Slow News Day for their second hour to play a couple songs. So
cool. I know we've reached out to Sabby Sab. So if you in chat know any shows that you can help get Jesse on to help promote this album and get more visibility and get more people out there.
I'm actually promoting this fucking record. By God, we're doing it. We're doing it live.
We're gonna do it. But thank you, really. Jesse.
Yeah, wow. Seriously.
Dude, amazing. And by the way, I'm gonna a treat for everyone. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to pull together, but I'm starting to put together a greatest hits live from American Tradition album for Jesse and for us, because there's so much great live music that he's played and spoken word pieces that I want to put that together into its own compilation. Another thing I still want to do is put together a Seuss album, and we have a couple of more.
Oh yeah,
my kids have been asking for more Seuss stuff, but you've already done, I think, close to a dozen Dr. Seuss books.
Right, I think so. I haven't done the Lorax, so I really want to do Lorax. So I just need to get a copy of it.
Yep. So we'll work on that.
Is Reef still around? Is Reef still in chat?
I'm not sure.
Ago. I got to give Reef a shout out. So he had hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, I want to send you a little something at holidays." I was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that." And he was like, "Well, it's not much. It's just one little thing, and then a rum cake." And I was like, "Oh, here's my address," and I gave him my address, and he sent a fucking fantastic rum cake, and he sent me this.
Yeah,
and I could not be more happy to have this. I'm gonna figure out somewhere to either. It pops nice and bright on the wall. I was thinking of backlighting it with something to really give it some razzle dazzle, but it's razzling and dazzling right now, so we might not need it. But
Yeti made
shout
one
out
himself.
to Reef.
Yeah, Yeti took that and made one himself with his 3D printer. Hold on, you're cut off halfway through. There you go. Hold on. Switch. Go to that shot. There we go. Hey, now nice. Now it's INN face Jesse. Now you got Indy next to INN, and we got to have the two circles.
Okay, can you get a screen grab of that and then be able to put that in if you need to censor me in a Dr. Seuss one? If all of a sudden the cat jumps up and claws my back, I'm like, mother, and then it pops up when we play. It'd be fantastic.
Right? So, oh, that's really funny. No, I got one of those too. It's sitting on my desk next to me. I got to figure out a way to hang it. Yeti actually figured out how to backlight it too. He's printing it, and then he's figuring out some kind of LED lighting that looked really cool.
Nice.
Holland got one too. Yeah, those are really cool. And I would say that it's about 2 feet by 2 feet. It's pretty decent size, and it's 18 inches, kind of diameter. Decent sized piece.
Nice.
Really nice, and kids like that, and everyone liked the cake that he and his mom made too. But all right, so tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna have INN News just like we always do, and awesome. I will see y'all when I see you, and
Fam,
I love you all.
Everybody,
thank you,
Mad Mom, Charlie, Vicky, Sean,
Cynic,
everybody, like
KYE,
you guys,
everyone, really.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. So we'll see you guys soon.
All right, night, everyone.
Who are these people?
Indie News Network, collaborative family of independent content creators. Co-hosted normally by me, Indy. I'm founder and editor of Indie Left News and Indie Media Today. I got Reef Breland sitting next to me.
At Kennedy News.
Is Andrew Rivera on the Handsome Cynic?
Politics and Survival.
My name is Jesse Jett.
It's American Tradition.
What's up, Space Monkeys? Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden.
I mostly make art for INN.
BigMadCrab, Joe. Keep up those great videos.
Hey guys, it's Yeti. Coming at you.
Hello, my name is Lucy from Blue Moon Red Wine.
This is Chris Legion.
Keep fighting that good fight out there, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Who are these people?